Stand by, recording in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to another episode of EHCTV. I'm McFarland Murph with
Kelsey Hubbard.
And we thank you for joining the show today. Well, Kelsey, let me start off by saying this. For the first time in my life, I actually feel like a total zombie right now.
Really?
I have had a total of 8 hours of sleep.
Wow.
And it is crazy. If it wasn't for the 30 minutes I have in my book bag right now, I probably wouldn't be able to make the day. It's almost crazy. I'm nearly falling asleep in classes, and just, I don't know. I feel like I'm on The Walking Dead right now.
Oh, no.
So
I'll nudge you, so we'll wake you up a little bit.
Please definitely do, because I'm going to definitely need it. I need some water splashed in my face. So back to the show. Who do you have today?
Well, I've got Talmadge Dobbins on, and she's going to be talking about the service dogs that we've been seeing on campus all semester, and just kind of about them and a little bit more information. You know,
I'm glad to hear about the service dogs. I actually met Jake for the first time. It wasn't a good experience. He actually growled at me when I walked down the steps. But ever since then, we've been pretty cool. You know, he's gone his way, he's gone my way. But it's good to hear that, you know, the service dogs are on campus and gives Emory and Henry a new light. Well, you know, I got Kelsey Jones on today, you know, member of the swimming team. You know, they had another successful season, you know, went to tournaments and things like that. So going to hear more about her and what it was like with the new coach.
Yeah, I'm excited. Someone who's got my name has got to be cool.
That's always a good thing. We will now send it over to Abby Hathorn for the news update.
If you're interested in live debate and current issues, then you should join the Hermesian Literary Society in the Hermesian Room at 7:30 Thursday evening and Tuesday, February 28th to see their new inductees debate one another. Topics include U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, jury nullification and birth control on Thursday, and abortion and prostitution the following Tuesday. E&H is currently looking for a host for the families March 6th for visiting members of the Kenyon College Chamber Choir. For the comfort and safety of the singers, each host must be able to take at least 2 singers. They are willing and prepared to share beds. Each host will need to provide transportation after the concert, breakfast in the morning, and transportation back to the campus on Monday, March 7th. Please email Christina Carroll to learn more and to volunteer. Student organization TEDx EHC returns to McLaughlin Center for the Arts on March 9th from 6 to 9 p.m. The event will feature diverse topics presented by E&H current students and alumni. Tickets for the event are on sale and can be purchased at the TEDx EHC Eventbrite.com for $5 per person. Tickets will not be sold at the box office, so get yours ahead of time. For questions, please email tedx@ehc.edu. Founded in 1995 as an interdisciplinary ensemble, Pig Iron Theater Company is dedicated to the creation of new and exuberant performance works that defy easy categorization. Over the course of its lifespan, Pig Iron has created more than 30 original works and has toured to festivals and theaters in England, Scotland, Poland, Lithuania, Brazil, Ireland, Japan, Italy, Romania, and Germany, and among others. And now they're here at EHC on March the 2nd through the 4th. They will be performing a showcase at the McLaughlin Center for the Arts. So make sure to mark that on your calendars, theater lovers. Want to make a difference with a little bit of your time? February Saturday Serve is with the new Life Thrift Store, a consignment shop on Main Street, Abingdon, that uses its profits to support a community food pantry that also provides medical support and other benevolence programs. Volunteering tasks will include sorting, hanging, and shelving clothes, pricing items, and interacting with customers. If you are interested in volunteering, please sign up by Wednesday, February 22nd. Those volunteering should meet at the Appalachian Center at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Transportation will be provided. Also, if you lost a class ring, one was found outside the grass at the King Center. For details, see Dana Boyd in the main office. Let's make EHCTV news more interactive. If you have something interesting to share or some student or campus news, tweet me at Abby Hathorn or send me a direct message. Well, that's all the buzz I have for y'all this week. Stay fabulous, Emory and Henry. I'm Abby Hathorn, and this has been your EHCTV News Update.
Hello and welcome to this feature interview. I'm Kelsey Hubbard. There are some furry faces added to our campus community this semester. Students have been seeing service dogs walking on campus for the past few weeks. I have Talmadge Dobbins on set with me today to talk about these new furry friends. Talmadge, thank you so much for taking your time to join me on set.
Thank you, Kelsey. I really appreciate the opportunity to share information about service dogs. We all want to become as knowledgeable as we can.
Right.
The legislation about service dogs has been around for quite a while, but It's new to our campus, so
Right.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. And as a senior, I've never actually seen service dogs on campus before this semester. Is this a new policy that Emory and Henry has had?
It's not a new policy, it's just that we've never had any students who've had that need. We've had them on our campus like at stress fairs and things like that. Just dogs more in training to be emotional support animals. But this is the first year, the first academic year, that we've actually had a need for service animals.
Right. And is it just service dogs, or are there other like companion animals that students can have?
There are all kinds of terms now. There's assist animals, comfort animals, emotional support animals, therapy animals, which are a little different. They are actually certified. And then there are service animals. And the service animals are the most different. Only dogs can be service animals, or, believe it or not, miniature horses.
Wow.
Yes, that's sort of interesting. And they're different because they are trained to do a specific task or service that is disability related.
Right.
So the other animals are not necessarily trained to do
course.
any particular service or task.
And is it certain breeds of dogs can be service animals and some can't?
Any breed can be. There are certain breeds that lend themselves to that more, but any dog could be a service animal.
Right. And service animals are associated mostly, from what I know, is with people who are blind, but they can do so many different things. What kinds of things can they do, I guess?
Sure. I think we first see them, or our first experience seeing them may have been with someone who is blind, serving as a lead dog or a guide dog. But they also work with people who are hearing impaired or deaf to alert to certain sounds like telephones or fire alarms or other sounds that people need to know. They work with people who have diabetes, if they can alert their owner if there's a sudden drop in blood sugar, or if the owner is subject to seizures, they can sometimes forewarn that a seizure is about to occur and thereby minimize the impact of that. And they work in other ways too. They can work with students who have PTSD or anyone who has PTSD, sometimes to let the owner know that something is about to happen, or to, again, minimize the impact of that.
Right.
So they do, and that's not even all that they do. I've seen service dogs that open doors, push elevator buttons,
Nice.
push the button for an automatic door opener even, so they can do all sorts of things.
Right. And I've come across a couple of these dogs on campus, and I know there are some things that people are not supposed to touch them or not supposed to really interact. What happens if, a dog comes towards me? What am I supposed to do?
Well, if the dog is working, the dog is usually on a leash or a harness. They're not necessarily designated as service animals, but if you know that the dog is, and you see that the dog is on a leash, you know the dog is working. And so most of us want to pet the dog.
Right.
I mean, most of us are dog lovers. And so our first instinct is to, pet the dog, whatever. But that dog is actually working. And so we don't want to distract the dog, number one. And it's just really not proper
Right.
to interfere while that dog is working. So as hard as it is, it's sort of like hands off.
Right. And I know that there's definitely a strict ENH no pet in the dorm policy. This obviously had to change. Am I correct?
Actually, no. We still have the no pet policy, but service dogs are exempt from that. A service dog can go anywhere that its owner can go. It can go into any public place. So classrooms, labs, cafeterias, athletic fields, anywhere that the owner would go, the dog may go. Emotional support animals are different. Again, we still maintain a no pet policy, but students who have emotional support animals go through a process by which that animal is deemed eligible. Again, those animals are not trained to do a specific task, but they do serve that student who has a disability in some way, just as a comfort animal.
Right.
And so we maintain the no pet policy, but we can still make exemptions for these animals.
Right. And so I was wondering if, these animals are, I guess, assigned to certain people. So do these animals now belong to that person? Are they still, I guess, kind of part of the government? How does that work? Do you know?
The dog, it belongs to its owner. And so even though we've been talking about students with disabilities, this is not an accommodation,
Right.
which might be a special service the college provides to students with disabilities. A dog belongs to its owner, and so it's not something the college provides, but something that the student owns.
Right. And do these dogs have to go through training programs, or can an individual train a dog, or do you understand how that works?
Right. The dogs have to be trained, as we said, for a specific task or service, but there's no particular organization or anyone in particular who has to train them. And so we don't require certification or where did this dog get trained. That's not allowed.
Right. And so if a student thinks that they're, I guess, in need of a service dog, how would they go about it? Would they come to the PRC and say, you know, I think I need this, or would it be like a specific training?
Well, we would be glad to help them in the PRC to research that. We can't provide the dogs, but we could help them find organizations that do training. And there are organizations across the country that help provide the training needed for service dogs. The training is very different for different dogs. You know, a service dog is not trained to do everything. It's trained to do a specific thing, and then that would be matched with the person who has a need for that specific thing. And some students could train the dog themselves, but that might be more difficult than it sounds.
And what are the qualifications for the need of a dog?
Okay, so a student, well, the student must have a disability. And if it's a service animal, then the animal has to be trained to do a service that is related to that disability. If it's an emotional support animal, that's a very different thing. So again, the student has a disability, and someone, a professional who is knowledgeable of that particular disability, would create documentation saying that this person needs this animal in order to fully enjoy the housing accommodations we have here to the extent that any other student might.
Right. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to talk about
Certainly,
this.
thank you.
They're very new to those of us who are not, I guess, understanding of how they work, I guess you could say.
Right, right. It's a new thing, but it's a wonderful thing.
Definitely. Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate this. This has been your feature interview. I'm Kelsey Hubbard with Talmadge Dobbins. On to the Out and About.
Emory and Henry students and campus police are searching for the culprits of 2 counts of vandalism that occurred in Carragher Residence Hall. On January 16th, Director of Housing Lacey Southwick informed Carragher residents by email that a door had been damaged. Andrew McClung witnessed the damage firsthand.
I walked upstairs, door was smashed, like two of the panels, there's 4 panels on the door, and 2 of the panels have been smashed open, and one of them had been rammed through with a ladder, like a barricade ram.
A few days later, occupants received an email regarding a second case of damage to the residence hall. Colin Foley witnessed a second case of damage when a smashed vending machine was emptied of all of its snacks.
But I was just like, goodness, guys, come on. It's college. Kids get crazy sometimes. They do things they shouldn't be doing.
What seems to be fixed now is not sitting well with residents of Carragher. With the culprits undiscovered, Carragher residents face additional fees to cover property damages. Many residents are not taking this lightly.
It's just very frustrating to have to pay these fees when I didn't do any of those.
Now, those residing in Carragher will have to deal with the consequences of the damages.
Like, what's going to break next?
Andrew Davis, EHCTV. Emory and Henry students and campus police are searching for
and welcome to the sports interview today. Today I have with me Kelsey Smith from the Emory and Henry women's swimming team. Today we're going to talk about the women's season overall and the future that they have in store. Kelsey, welcome to the show.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me.
So Kelsey, let me just start off by just asking, how did the season go this year?
It went really well. It was a really good season. We had kind of a smaller group this year with only 11 girls, and only 10 that competed at ODEX. But it was a really good season. I think we actually ended up doing a lot better than kind of expected.
You know, you came in with a new coach, pretty much a new environment. Just tell me, just tell me how that went, and describe, how that transition was and how it affected your season.
Yeah, it did take some getting used to because everyone was totally used to the old coach and kind of their training and the way that they worked. So it took some getting used to with a new coach and having kind of a different on-deck presence and a different type of training method. But I think in the end it all worked out really well. We have a really good relationship with both the head and assistant coaches, and I think the training was definitely helpful to put us where we were at the end of the season.
Now, staying on to the new coach, what's different about this coach than the previous coach before?
Well, I guess where he is younger, it's a little bit different because our old coach was quite a bit older. So I think having a younger coach who was closer to coming out of college, he was a little more relatable than it had been. And then the training was a lot different. Like the philosophies and training between the both of them were a lot different.
So can you give us a little bit of, what the swim team's routine is like? Because I'll be the first one to tell you I have no idea. I don't know how to swim. I can float really well, but I can't. I don't do the deep end. I usually stay in the shallow end.
Yeah.
So, and every time I did dive into this deep end, I ended up getting a sore throat for some reason. So I said, it's probably better that I just stay on the shallow side and just watch everybody from afar. But can you just explain, some of the swimming routine and how practices go on a regular basis?
Right. So this season we had practices Monday through Saturday, sometimes on Saturday, depending on if we had a meet or not that weekend. And then we had morning practice at 6 a.m. 3 times a week, which obviously it's not fun getting up, but then it's kind of out of the way and you have the rest of the day to just kind of like go about and do everything else. And then we had lifting twice a week as well in the weight room. So it's definitely like a lot of sacrifice getting up early, and it does take up time, but like it's totally worth it. And we do spend a lot of time in the pool.
So, you talk about, all the work that you put in. How what have you seen, during this season that has come from all that training that you've put in over the off season?
Well, as a team, we came in 3rd this year at ODEX. So that was really great being able to, and then kind of overall, we had a lot of different best times and a few records broken and everything. So I think being able to see the team as a whole really improve and get better from all the work that we put in really shows that it's all worth it.
Coming into this year, it was kind of a big, transition. Like as we said early, new coach, new way of doing things, and just overall just new things in general. And then you found out that there will be a men's swimming team coming to Emory and Henry. And I just want to get your take on how you feel about this new swimming team coming, and how do you think it'll affect the program overall?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to have a men's team. It will definitely be weird, especially since next year is my senior year and only really having 1 year with that. I know that we might have to, where the pool is kind of smaller, have to kind of switch around practice times and everything to be able to fit everyone. But I think it'll be really good, and I think it'll be beneficial too, because I think that will make us even more competitive in the ODAC with having a men's team to compete with the other men's teams rather than just the women's team.
How is recruiting for swimming on the women's side?
Recruiting's going well. We have a few commits already right now, and we still have a few that are waiting on like their scholarship packages to come back and stuff. But Cody and Colleen, both the coaches, have done a really great job with making sure that they stay on top of communicating with all the different people that we're trying to recruit and everything. Now,
with the new men's swimming team coming to Emory and Henry College, how do you recruit and how do you sell those swimmers to come to Emory and Henry College?
It's definitely different where we don't already have a men's team. But basically what we do is we just bring them to campus and they kind of interact with us a little bit, so kind of already get a feel of at least how the women's team dynamic is. A lot of their time is also spent touring campus and seeing kind of just what Emory and Henry has to offer as a whole.
Well, Kelsey, we talk about the team and we talk about the overall impact that, training has. We talked about transition. We talked about a lot of things that dealt with the swim team. But just tell me, being a junior, what have you learned since being a freshman from swimming, being in college and having to put all that together?
Well, I've definitely learned that going kind of from different mentalities. So in club swimming, it's all about you. It's all about your personal times and if you're going best times and if you're getting better. But I've definitely learned in college swimming that it's not all about you, it's also about the team. For example, I kind of had a lot of injury issues and stuff, so I didn't do as well as I would have liked to, but it was still amazing to be able to see everyone else that gets up at the same time as me and that I put so much work into the pool with, to be able to see them do great and also to be able to come together as a team to do this common goal of making it at least top 3 in the ODEX.
Tell me, Kelsey, you know, coming up on your final year, you know, you want to do well. It's an emotional time. You know, you've put in 3 years of work so far on the swimming team. You've been a part of a team that's been extremely successful. You know, a team that has put people in national swimming events. Mm-hmm. What are some of your goals and what are some of your plans for your last year?
I guess my goal is just to kind of make the best of it, especially personally. I would hope to, you know, kind of go out with a bang and go out with the best I've ever done. But also just kind of take that last year, just kind of soak it all up and be with everyone one last time, because I still am not believing that I only have 1 season left. So, yeah.
Well, believe me, you know, take it from me, it goes extremely fast. Mm-hmm. So, lastly, would you like to say anything about the team upcoming this year and what you think will happen next season? I'm
really excited for it. I hope that we have a good class of people to bring in so that we can hopefully maybe make it into the top 2 of ODEX instead of being 3rd like we were this year. And Michaela is training for nationals right now, so I'm excited to see how she does too.
Okay. Well, Kelsey, we thank you for having you on the show. We will now send it over to Andrew McClung for the sports update.
What up, Wasp? I'm Andrew McClung, back with another week of sports. Spring season has just started up, but basketball is still booming and going on. The men's team has been finding success lately as they just finished up the regular season last Saturday on a 7-game winning streak, with the final regular season record of 18-7 and 12-4 in the ODAC. The Wasps clinched the 3 seed for the tournament and will face off against Roanoke College Thursday night at 8 p.m. The women's team has seen the same success, winning 6 of their last 7 games. The Wasps have the same record as the men, 18-7, 12-4 in the ODAC. The women also claimed the 3 seed and will play Virginia Wesleyan Friday at 8 p.m. Both teams are playing in the quarterfinals, so if they win, they will advance on to the semifinals played Saturday at the Salem Civic Center. The baseball team began their season 2 weeks ago as well. After playing Berry College this past weekend, the Wasps could not muster out a win, falling to 0-6 on the season. Emory will be back for a 3-game series this weekend against Johnson University at home. Games will be played Friday and Saturday. Friday's game is a 9-inning game, while Saturday's games are 2 7-inning games. The softball team has also started up their season. The team is currently 1-3 after a tournament last weekend. The Wasps allowed less than 3 runs in every game except for 1, but they couldn't seem to get the offense going. If they want to win games this season, they will need to do something to fix that problem. Finally, tennis started up their spring season this past Saturday against Ferrum College. The men started off the season with a tough 7-2 loss, while the women swept the Panthers 9-0. John Dalton Ferguson won a great match in which the score was 7-5, 6-2. Katie Mead swept her opponent in singles for the girls 6-0, 6-0. Finally, in other sports news, the Sacramento Kings made the worst trade ever with the New Orleans Pelicans, giving up DeMarcus Cousins to go play with former teammate Anthony Davis. That will do it for your sports update this week. Andrew McClung, EHCTV.
A turn signal is a flashing light on a vehicle to show that it's about to change lanes or turn. I absolutely despise when people cut in front of you while driving down the road without using their turn signal. Like, what the heck? Use your freaking turn signal. It's there for a purpose, not just for looks. I also hate when you're driving behind someone and that person slams on his or her brakes to turn without using a turn signal. This is how wrecks happen. Come on now, use your brain. In closing, just freaking use your turn signal. It could save a life and the frustration of Mylan Brewer. I'm Mylan Brewer, and this is my rant.
everyone. I'm Kennedy Haga, and welcome to this week's installment of Tweet, Pray, Love. Every week, I get on Twitter and post an off-the-wall hashtag topic, and it's up to you, the Emory and Henry community, to come up with ridiculous material for me to use on the show every week. With help of Tweet, Pray, Love Peanut Gallery, we plan to bring you your opinions to the forefront of fame. And by that, I mean local TV. This week's topic was EHC glowing Greek advice. So let's get started. From Sierra Morgue, we have Be Prepared to Get Tackled.
I don't know what that is. I'm not a girl.
Okay. From Emma Grace, wear a lot of makeup on BTI and just keep reapplying throughout the week.
I'm not in a fraternity or sorority, so I don't know what that means.
Okay, got a little hate from the Peanut Gallery. From Katrina Wagner, don't trip when running out of Mawa. That's good advice. From Delta Pi, follow your heart no matter where you go.
Aww.
From Emma Grace again, stay hydrated.
Regularly.
Okay.
Agua.
And then from Sierra, go where you feel like you belong. She did, and she found her home, forever home, at Delta Rho Delta. So that's all I've got for you today. I'm Kennedy Haga. Thank you to our Peanut Gallery, and that is it for this week's Tweet, Pray, Love. See you next week, Emory. Keep it classy.
Well, that's it for this episode of EHCTV. Really good with Kelsey. Like I said, if she's got my name, she's got to be cool, and she definitely is cool.
Well, she's definitely doing a great job in the swimming pool. I'm going to tell you right now, I can't swim that fast. I'm no Michael Phelps. I will never win a gold medal in swimming at all. Yeah. But she has done some good work for the Wasps this season and throughout her 3 years here. Yeah. And, you know, it seems like they're doing really well with a new coach, and looks like they're heading in the right direction. But that's Kelsey, really I'm a personal dog lover. Yeah. I have a German Shepherd Corgi mix back at home, and she's spoiled. Right now, she's a little overweight, but we're going to get her back into shape. But it's good to see, you know, animals being able to do a lot of things and helping people out with emotional stress and things such as that. So it's always a good thing to see, you know, animals or any other furry friend, you know, being able to assist people in various ways.
Like I said, I didn't even know that this was even a possibility at Emory and Henry. Like I've never seen him until this year. So it's really great to know that that's something that we can have here.
Yeah, and they're extremely well trained.
They definitely are. If you enjoyed this week's show, remember to tune in next week on Wednesday and Thursday night at 7 on Channel 3.
You'll also hear the best of BBC and NPR on WEHC 90.7, your college and community station.
Well, that's it for this episode of EHCTV. I'm Kelsey Hubbard.
With McFarland Murph.
We'll catch you guys next week.